Alright guys, so today, if you have been on the internet at all in the past year and a half-ish, you know what Raid Shadow Legends is, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. So, I just want to preface this video with saying that usually I'm pretty good about getting my own gameplay, but after a long struggle of trying to convert my hour and 14-ish minutes of footage that I had over between email, OneDrive, just straight up doing an old-fashioned plugging my phone into the computer, I could not get my file to transfer. I tried snipping it up into 1 minute individual videos 114 times and transferring that over. That still did not work. So all of today's gameplay is from Mobile Games Daily, the channel, and go check them out if you want to see any other mobile game type stuff. That's their thing, that's what they do, and they're great at it. Alright, so just wanted to start the video off with that. But let's start off, and again, this is early game footage, so it's not going to be any intense stuff. In my footage, had dungeons and some of the other later game stuff that I wanted to show off, but we'll have to work with what we have, and I will kind of do my best to describe the game with what we have available. So, if you've only seen the ads, have absolutely no clue what Raid Shadow Legends is, you skip all of the ads, everything. It's a turn-based, I guess you could call it strategy game. I mean, it's a mobile game, so with that comes the limitations of mobile games, but turn-based strategy game, kind of. And so, you know, like all of the other ones that you've played, if you play any of these mobile-type games, they have the Star Wars ones, Marvel ones, DC ones, you know, all types of these kind of games, right? Just like the base building genre, there's all just licenses everywhere. And so the difference with Raid Shadow Legends, in my opinion, is just the quality of not only the characters and the enemies and the graphics, but the actual move sets, right? And honestly, right out the bat, there's two really big differences with Raid Shadow Legends that stands out from these other types of mobile games. One is the moveset, right? Every single character has different and unique movesets, and they have that in other types of turn-based games on mobile things. For example, with the Star Wars ones, they'll have different moves for different stormtroopers, but again, it's just a blaster shooting, right? It gets repetitive. It's kind of the same thing, just different animation over and over and over again. With this, every single unit is different and has unique abilities, and they're all interesting, right? On top of that, all of the units are insanely unique, and I feel like there's a lot more in this, and most importantly, they're easier to get, right? I feel like especially the DC back strategy turn game on mobile is heavily limited to, they want you to put your credit card in to earn any more units. Now, this game does not, refrain from that tactic either. You're going to get plenty of ads for $30 packs, but we'll get to that later, right? Even with the Marvel one, which is a little bit better, and the Star Wars one, it takes a while to get new characters. You kind of gotta grind a little bit before they even introduce you to unlocking more characters. You see right here, after the first mission, you're already getting a new character, and this isn't something that kind of tapers off as you get further into the game, while those characters will become less and less useful as you get to higher levels. You will always constantly be getting new and unique characters to play as, and that makes it refreshing for me. Now, talking about here is where it gets a little bit more complicated than some of the other mobile games, right? It has gear more, not exactly to an extent of a full AAA, console PC game, but it's more complex than some of the other games like this on mobile. So you kind of have to keep up with your gear and upgrading it, and all of the systems are basically amped up a little bit. If all of the other turn-based games that we've talked about here, and even other ones that I haven't discussed, are just a little too casual for you, and you want a little bit more, but you don't want that full $60 title level of detail, then this is definitely the way to go. Now let's talk about the game modes, I guess, if that's what you want to. So something that I think Raid Shadow Legends does really well is giving you access to everything really early, and this can definitely be overwhelming in any mobile console, any type of game, right? They just throw everything at you. But what I mean is, it's not exactly all at once, but it's a lot quicker than a lot of other games. There's the other, especially the Marvel turn-based game. Here's your microtransactions here that you're gonna see in a minute. But the other turn-based games that you'll play hours and hours, get to decently high levels, and you won't even unlock the more, dungeon-y, raid-type missions that, you really want to do with these types of games. Raid Shadow Legends just gives it to you right off the bat, right? You reach a certain level, not sure what it is off the top of my head, but it's a relatively low level. And they give you the dungeons, the multiplayer, the faction wars, the campaign. There's 4 difficulties for the campaign. They give you everything relatively at a low level. So there's a lot of positives being thrown your way, right? So what are the negatives of it? Well, one, again, it is a mobile game, so it is highly monetized with ads in your face. Anytime you go back to the main menu, you're getting 3-4 ads, probably $30 packs they want you to buy. Now, fortunately, it's not any of those crappy mini games where they tell you to play the mini game and then you click on it, it brings you to the App Store. At least I haven't experienced that yet. It's all in-game ads, which is, if I'm gonna have ads, that's what I would prefer. And then the other negative, I guess, if this is a problem with you, is it is grindy, right? More so than other mobile games, but I find that the grind is more enjoyable because, like I said earlier, you're always getting new characters and new abilities for those characters and meeting new enemies. There's a large variety of enemy types, and the bosses are actually interesting, right? Again, using the Star Wars game as an example, it's not just a stormtrooper with a bigger gun this time, or an ATST instead of a speeder as the boss. In this, it's dragons and giant creatures, and each enemy has different abilities, and it's all different, and there's elements that are better against other types of enemies, and it's much more in-depth, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So, again, this isn't the norm for this channel. I usually stick to console games, specifically Xbox, but I figured we would change it up a bit and look at Raid Shadow Legends just to see if it was worth all of the hoopla the ads is making. And honestly, I think it is, right? If you're looking for a mobile game to play, you don't want one of those arcadey type Subway Surfers, Temple Run, Jetpack Joyride, one of those types of games, but you want something that has a little bit more grind to it, but not something that you gotta sit down and play all day. You can just play for an hour a day, maybe. I would definitely say this is the way to go. It's fun. Combat is interesting. There's plenty of characters to go through, but that's just me. You guys can let me know if you hate the game, if you love the game, if you hate mobile games. Sorry for this one, but I just wanted to do this. Thought it would be a fun one to do. And I'll see you guys on the next one.